Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I know it's kind of been all over the place. I haven't uploaded it in 2 weeks, I think. Oh my god, I had a video ready to upload. I had it all done up, and I produced the file, and the file was too big because I didn't have any more storage on my phone because of all the videos I'm taking. So I was like, okay, well, I'll just go through and I'll erase videos that I don't need anymore. Went through and I erased a bunch of videos. I went to produce the video that I had made up, and half the clips that were in that video I erased. I'm still getting used to this whole YouTube thing, and yeah, I was not happy. I spent like 2 hours editing this whole video and then screwed myself over. So we're gonna get back to it today. The head still isn't off. It's now Friday of like 3 weeks into this build, so I'm not even gonna continue with the days. The head will come off tomorrow. I finally, so the kicker, the part that was killing us the most was I didn't have a long enough Torx bit to fit on the intake side of the cams to get down to the head bolts because I didn't want to take the cams off. But then I realized, well, I'm gonna have to take the cams off anyway, or the machine shop's gonna have to take the cams off, either way, but I'm still gonna have to take the timing off. So I went to take the timing off. I needed an extended Torx for the timing guide, and I didn't have one of those. So I had to wait for shipping of the tools, which took about 5 days. And in the midst of those 5 days, I managed to get the oil pan tapped. That's taken care of. That's finally done. We cleaned the block off. Right now, today, if you follow my Instagram, I had a poll up there a few days ago deciding if I should paint the engine bay or not. A lot of people voted yes. I let everyone put in their choice of color, and then I let everyone vote, because personally for me, this was all for you guys. I wanted to paint the engine bay, but I didn't care what color went in it. So it was all done, the voting was all done on Instagram, and it came down to it that everyone decided that red was gonna be the color that the engine bay should be. I was hoping it would be red because I really wanna go along with my red interior. So today I'm actually cleaning up the engine bay, getting all the wire harnesses moved, getting all the heat protective plating off, moving all the coolant lines, just so I can see the frame rails and the shock towers. I'm not gonna go into a full engine bay paint job. I'm not taking off everything off the firewall. I'm not disassembling the whole engine bay. I'm just gonna get to where the shock towers and the frame rails are completely accessible, because once the engine's in, you don't really see much of the engine bay other than the shock towers. So this is actually where I'm at so far. I've got most of the heat stuff off of this side. I've got to take out, I'm guessing this wires to the brake pad wear sensors, so I got to take that out. But I've got this harness off, and I'm going to pull all these harnesses back once I get that wire out of there. Same thing with this side. I got to pull this harness off. Obviously, I'm going to go through and I'm going to sand the areas that I'm going to paint, tape off anything I don't want painted, cover up the whole cradle or the whole subframe, cover the power steering pump, the reservoir, and yeah, and then we'll get to paint. I'm going to use some high temp paint. It's not going to be anything fancy. I'm not going to go into a full like paint process with this, just some high temp rattle can paint, but I'll make it look really good. So on the engine side, we've actually got the engine pretty much cleaned up. There's a little bit of standing oil that's been slowly leaking out of the block since it's been sitting here, but we've got the block pretty much cleaned up. We've cleaned up the front side. So I've got the tools to take the head off. The valve cover's loose. If you guys have seen, I don't know, the last video I posted like 2 weeks ago, I'm sure I was covering the valve cover. So tomorrow we're gonna jump in first thing in the morning on taking the head off, see if we can get it up to the machine shop, see how much they're gonna charge me to grind the valves, maybe deck it. I haven't decided yet, but I just wanna make sure the head isn't warped. That way when I put the head gasket back on, I know that if I have any cooling issues, it's not the head. I'll check the block, make sure that there's no cracks in the cylinder walls or anything like that. I was gonna say full send on the build the bottom end, but I looked into it. There's no way I can financially afford to do that. So we're just gonna take the head to a machine shop, have them maybe deck it, but clean it all up, make it look really good. Probably put new valve seals in it, new lifters, maybe. If the lifters are still good, I mean, I might as well keep them, but if there's one or two that are bad, I'll probably replace them. So yeah, this is where we're at. I'm gonna get some footage today of getting this thing sanded and masked and painted, because that's the plan for today. I'm gonna get the rest of the wires pulled out, make sure I've got all the hoses off the firewall, clean up any loose debris that's sitting on it, and then we'll start painting. So hopefully I'll get you guys a time lapse going, because like I said, one, I haven't uploaded in a couple weeks, and two, I haven't really been getting any actual content of what I'm doing. So again, thank you guys for sticking with the build this far. I appreciate all the love and support, all the DMs, comments, anything like that. If you haven't yet, subscribe, like, all that stuff before we jump into this, because this is going to be a very interesting video. It may end really bad, but I'm really hoping it won't. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. I'm about to die. I'm sorry, I know this is... So content's gonna kind of suck. But the firewall is pretty much ready, or not the firewall, but the shock towers and the frame rails. There's still a lot of shit that's like here, but for not how in-depth I'm getting with this is about where I want to be. Pretty much all wiring harnesses are completely gone off the front end of the car. All I have is 2 brake lines, and then all the heater core lines, which obviously I'm just going to kind of lay some plastic down, mask that up, and then from like, I'll mask this all up, mask up the steering shaft. This will all get painted red, the shock tower, all this right here, up to, you know, right here where the fender is. And then same thing with over here, I'll mask from here, all the way around this, all the way down, back down to there, paint the shock tower, the frame rail, cover up all the cradle components, mask off the AC line, obviously mask off the brake lines, mask off the DME box, mask off the brake booster and brake reservoir, mask off all the bolts and nuts, because I don't want to misplace them or put them in the wrong spot. So I'm going to leave them on, but I'm going to mask them and make sure I just get around them and everything. So I'm waiting on Eddie to get here with the sandpaper and the paint, but this is where we're at. My phone died last night, so I didn't get much content to this, but I've got the engine bay painted. I've got to clean up some overspray that I got down there. I got some overspray on the heat shield. Just got some overspray on the fender here. I had some people ask me about doing the backside of the firewall. Obviously with that, it's kind of stuck on there and there's a lot more to take off. Plus you don't really see the backside of the firewall when the engine's in. You really only see the shock towers. So, and obviously I got some overspray on the wires, but overall pretty happy with how this turned out. So once the engine gets back from the head shop, it honestly shouldn't take much time to get everything set back up, drop it in place, and see how the engine looks. Jesus, I got the hiccups, I apologize. And then we'll see how the engine looks with the painted engine bay. But yeah, this is where we're at today. All right, so I've got the timing tool set up. I may have to take this off. I didn't realize that there was a head bolt down there, and I believe there's another one right down there. I may be able to get to them with the tool in, but if not, I'll take the tool off, take those 2 bolts out, put the tool back on, take the timing gears off. The tensioner is already loose, but it just won't come off with the timing gears in the way, so I'll take the timing gears off, move the chain, pull the tensioner. Then when that's off, I'm going to come through in sequence and hit all the head bolts, loosen that off, and then we'll pull the head. So this is what we got going on today. So the timing guide, it turns out it actually stays with the block, so we can just pull the head up with it sitting like this. We've went along and pulled all the head bolts. They're all loose. We went and loosened them in sequence at a 2-step process, breaking them and then going back through and loosening them in the same exact order. So the head's ready to come off. I'm nervous but excited. I don't know what to expect, but I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best. All right, y'all. So I've decided I just can't get content when I'm working, because I get so focused on the working that I can't take the time out to actually get content or record while I'm fucking doing shit. So if you decide to do this yourself and you're watching my videos, just reach out to me through Instagram or YouTube, whatever. It'll be a lot easier. I honestly do not mind helping. No matter how dumb you feel, I can walk you through it, help you through anything you guys have. I just can't get the camera going when I'm actually working. So instead of every video me apologizing for no content. Just understand that I'm not going to be a walkthrough. I'm not going to be a how-to. But if you have any questions, you can definitely hit me up. So we've got the head off. Finally, the head's fucking off. And even better news, the head gasket was bad. I know that sounds terrible, but the fact is the head gasket was bad, which means I don't have any cracks in my cylinder walls. I don't have anything like that. So I'll show you guys the head right now, actually. You can tell, you can see the white around all the valves. Yeah, that's coolant passing through. And this is the top of the head gasket. And you can see all the coolant that was getting through the head gasket. You can see it all through here. I think my valve seals are bad, but this is on the exhaust side because we have the head upside down. So I've still got the cams in. The cam ledges are still tight. I just got all the head bolts and I got the timing chain and stuff out of the way. So I'm probably going to take this to a head shop, have them deck it, check the valves. If I need to get new valve seals and new lifters, I will. The lifters hopefully should be in good shape since the car only had 100,000 miles. There might be one or two that's bad, but I believe I'm just going to take the head and have the head hot tanked and decked depending on his price, and then just replace any maintenance parts that need to be done in there. So the head's off. I'll show you guys the pistons. They are not in bad shape. There's got a little bit of carbon, but we actually managed to rub some of this carbon off. You can tell, I don't know what the white side signifies. I don't know if there's something that I have to be looking for when it comes to that, if that's bad. I'm going to do some research tonight and take a look into that. But then on this side, you can see between cylinder 3 and 4, I've got this slight discoloration that I don't get through the rest of this side. And I have a feeling, because this is probably coolant with the way how like the color it is. So I have a feeling where the head gasket was mainly bad was through 2 to 4, mainly 3 to, or 2 to 5, mainly 3 to 4. So this is as far as we got today. We didn't, like I said, I just wanted to get the head off. It's Saturday, so the head shop's not even open. I don't think they open again until Monday. So I'm probably not going to touch the car tomorrow. I'm going to try to get this actually slapped together tonight and uploaded, because I haven't updated you guys and it's been almost 2.5 weeks. Again, the engine bay is painted. I've got to go through and touch up a few spots just because, you know, I got some overspray on the wires here. I got some overspray on the hinge, but I also want the red to go all the way through this pinch weld because this is still technically the engine bay. I just don't want it on the hinge or nothing. Over here, I didn't mask all the way, so I've got some light spots here. And again, I want to go down the pinch welds all the way down, so I've got to touch up there. But overall, pretty happy with the engine bay, the way it turned out. There's still some overspray spots. I got to clean this up. I got some overspray on the cradle, and I'll either clean that up, or I may not, because you're not going to see it. It'll just be more of a personal thing. I got some overspray on that heat shield. Again, I use high heat temp paint that can withstand up to like, I think it's like 1500 degrees. So this will definitely be able to handle the heat that the engine's going to be putting out. So this was all in all, I mean, taking the head off, all in all, I was very nervous. Very nervous. Not only, one, because it's the first time I've ever actually done something like this to my own car, but two, I didn't know how bad my engine was. Now that I've got the head off, I feel a lot more confident with where the car's at. I'm still very concerned about putting the head back on, lining all the timing up, making sure all the lifters and just all that stuff I'm very concerned about. I'm still very nervous, anxiety filled. There's so many words I could use. But I'm this far and nothing's gone like terribly wrong. Nothing's shown that this engine's gonna be done within the next 50,000 miles or so. So I'm pretty confident with where it's at. As soon as we get it back from the head shop, depending on how much they put together, see how much I have to put together with the head, and then put the head back on, new head bolts, slap everything back together, service the tranny, slap the tranny back on, drop the engine in. So I'm just hoping the head shop doesn't take super long, because if it doesn't, give me a week time to make sure everything's square, and we should have the engine in and we should be ripping. So with that said, I appreciate you guys sticking with the build. Thank you for all the love, support, DMs, comments. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, comment, all those things. Hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions. Again, And I'll hopefully have a new video up. I'm probably not going to upload until I get the head back from the head shop, so it'll be probably a week and a half till I have the next video up. But hopefully the next video, it'll be more progress being made, putting the head back on, servicing the tranny, getting that all put back together, and then dropping it in, putting it all back together, and ripping. So again, thank you all for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.